Call to order the zoning board appeals. June 20th, 7:30 PM, I'm sorry. Roll call. Zekin.
Here.
Dudek.
Here.
Cooper, here. Case. Pencil. Absent. Comments from the community not on the agenda. Motion to approve agenda.
Motion to approve.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of previous minutes. From May 16th.
Move to approve the minutes.
Have a second.
I'll second it. In the form that was presented.
Okay.
We looked at all.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business? A motion to open the public hearing for 2023-266.
I move to open the public hearing for 2023-266.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay, motion carried. We'll have comments from the applicant. Mr. Swantek.
I'm Mr. Hammond.
You're Mr. Henry, okay, just get Swantek. Here. Want to take the podium?
Hold on, give me a second. I gotta catch up here. So give you a few moments, get a little nervous.
Oh, dude.
We'll work together on the nervousness. What's your name again?
There.
8376?
Yep.
All right, ready to go when you are. Derek, what? Spell it.
SWAN.
And you're where do you live?
8376 Gratiot.
Okay. In Columbus, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go for it. Tell us all about it.
I'm just looking for a zoning change to put up an accessory building. With the way the septic field was laid out in the previous owner of the property, it's pretty much smack dab right in the middle of my property, and I had to abide by rules to dig a pond, fill in everywhere back there because it's extremely low and wet. And now I'm fighting the same thing with the septic field to put in an accessory building. Because I really would like it right where the septic field is, but I have to go around the septic field now. And it's just gonna cost a lot more money to push even back further, so I'm trying to keep it as close as I can. I'm not trying to do anything big or over excessive, I'm just looking for extra storage for future living. Pretty much it, it's the best location that I picked out. Most reasonable. I'd say.
Are those stakes that I saw the boundary line or?
I just stake those out. I work for a utility company,
I see that.
so I put those stakes out as like imaginary driveways. So I'm trying to picturing pulling that trailer in there, make sure I had enough room to turn around and things like that. I really want to keep I like keeping a nice yard and keep things nice and tidy, and I want to keep trailers inside and not have I just don't like clutter, so I want to keep everything inside and out of plain view. So the stakes you saw are boundary points of the corners of the barn and then the driveway.
This one's you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I took a look at it also, and well, maybe you can show me, Derek. I'm looking at the map here. And where you have that proposed. And what you want to do is, the side setback is, I understand, 30 feet. You want to reduce that to 20 feet. So the zoning board, all we can consider is a dimensional variance, which is what you're asking. But it's not something that should be granted if your desire can be accomplished in some way that would be consistent with the zoning ordinance. So just looking at this, and when I was out there, I looked at the property. Why can't you, a couple of thoughts here. Maybe you can come up here and take a look at this. So you've got this as the proposed building here. Yep. Why can't you first move this 10 feet over this way?
Because that would put me too close to the pond then,
What do you mean too close?
within my 25 feet of the pond.
Okay. So but I'm not aware of a prohibition on that. Is there some reason for that?
I read it in your guys' application.
It can't be within 25 feet of the pond?
Yeah, the pond excavation. I talked to Tracy about it.
Right, I talked to Tracy too, and he didn't mention that. So the other thought I had was, if you can't move it closer that way, then why not move it further back here?
Because there's two very large maple trees that I'm not cutting down right there.
Well, there's a tree here and a tree over here.
Yeah, and it's,
You could cut down the one and not cut down the other one and still put that in there.
yeah, I'm not cutting down any trees. I just planted a ton of pine trees in here 2 years ago.
And you also have this property over here where you have a garden.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
and it's extremely low and extremely wet, and it would cost me 4 times that to bring a driveway back that far.
Okay, so just so you understand, for variance, what it would cost you is not a factor in our consideration. So the problem we have is that we're limited under the zoning ordinance as to what we can do. The concept, at least legally, is that a practical difficulty, and it's spelled out in. I don't know if you looked at the ordinance at all.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to look at everything the best I could.
Okay.
My knowledge.
So section 7.7 of the zoning ordinance talks about, and this is 7.7. I think it's B. Yeah, capital B, number 3, granting variances. And it provides that the application that's submitted has to demonstrate that special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same district. B, the strict and literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance. C, that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, particularly any failure of the applicant to investigate the requirements of this ordinance before purchasing a property upon which a variance is requested. And D, that granting the variance requested will not confer to the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance to owners of other lands, structures, or building in the same district. It also makes it clear that non-conforming use of other lands nearby are not considered grounds for issuance of the variance. So that's what we have to look at.
Oh, I understand that.
When looking at your request. And on the first factor, the zoning board of appeals handbook explains that a little bit more. And it talks about special conditions or circumstances that are related to the property are generally physical characteristics that may normally include exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape, exceptional topographic conditions, or other extraordinary situations related to the property, or use or development of the property immediately adjoining the property in question. So it's something unique about the property. So you might have like a deep ravine or something like that that would prevent you from being able to, you know, put up a building or something like
I
that.
mean, where you just recommended it in the back where it's all weeds. I mean, it's like almost a wetland. It's wet. And months a year. So I mean, it wouldn't even be. Like if I put a pole barn there, I pour concrete for a living, and I'm not gonna look at a bunch of cracked up concrete because of the heaving from the groundwater back there. I can pond to begin with, to get the elevation up. I guess I don't know.
Well, so, I mean, you didn't submit any explanation at all with your application. There was no supplemental document.
I was told by Tracy that I needed to improve the hardship, and the hardship was a septic field being directly in the middle of the property.
Well, the hardship is applicable when you're looking at a use variance, which we can't grant. This is a dimensional variance. So that concept, what we consider is practical difficulty. And, you know, you don't want to put it further back because you don't want to cut down a tree.
I mean, it's not just like, it's not like it's a 10-foot tall tree. It's probably like a 60 or 70-foot tall tree.
It's a big tree.
Yeah.
I know, but again, the cost involved is not a factor. You can use your property. You can put the building on your property without having to get a variance from the setback. I mean, we're not supposed to grant a variance except in extraordinary conditions. Because the idea under the zoning ordinance is that they don't want nonconformities to the ordinance. So you may have nonconformities that exist at the time that the ordinance was adopted, which can continue. Those are fine. They can continue, except when something happens to change that, then, you know, let's say you had a building that was not in conformity and the building got destroyed. Something like that. Then, you know, the idea is to go with the zoning ordinance, including all the setbacks. So, you know, I mean, looking at the property there, you've got the room to put the building up. And I know you mentioned to me that you were debating whether it's going to be a 40-foot or a 50-foot. You know, I mean, you've got the room to put a 40-foot building there.
Yeah, but it would be direct. I mean, my whole backyard would be ruined.
No, your whole backyard wouldn't be ruined. What would probably be ruined would be that tree.
I'd be staring at a barn looking out. I just have a brain patio put in. I'm not gonna do all that work to stare at a pole barn that's even further back than I want to.
How far away is a tree from that pole barn?
If it goes where I want it to be, it'd be 35 feet.
Well, we're gonna take a look at this. Now, we're not supposed to give you other options. You do a dimensional change, move your building from here to here about 5 feet, when you triangulate it out, that gives you your 10 feet you need and doesn't have to affect what you're looking to do.
No, I'd be good with that.
And then that gets you around this problem right here.
Yeah.
Then you're not coming docking.
I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere, like.
I just want to move it that way. Move that way, you're gonna gain your 10 feet and you're good to go.
Yeah.
You're only moving it. So there's your property here. That's it. And visually, you won't even notice the difference.
No, I agree on that. So I mean, I just don't want to tear up any more of the property than I have to. I mean, I try and get the wildlife in there. And
I just happen to see a solution. That's
no, sure, that's great.
Any other comments?
Nope.
Shannon, you got any questions?
You asked Dave if you had any questions.
Stan?
Yeah.
No, I have none.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll have a board discussion now.
Okay.
Any other comments?
So Dave, I don't know what you were suggesting to
Basically,
What, yeah,
Derek, so.
so let's say this is the parcel of land, barn sitting. Right there.
Yeah.
Water sitting right here. Lot line to here, if you kick it over 5 to 7 feet at an angle. That should offset what you need for your 10 feet to get you where you need to be, and visually it doesn't hurt them. And the barn appears as if it would have been where it would have been initially. From the house, from his new porch,
Without requiring a variance.
that's what I'm thinking.
Well, if it
Didn't
can
have
be,
enough time to trig it out, but
right, I mean, if it can be done without
That's my
granting a
thought.
variance, then it has to be done.
it's not like putting it way in the back in Zimbabwe somewhere.
Right, well, it's not way in the back, it wouldn't,
Right.
when I was looking at the tree, it wouldn't have been way in the back. And,
And it wouldn't hurt the tree, I wouldn't think either.
Let's see, is there any
like
code
trees.
on a tree, how close it can be to a structure?
Oh, tree's not a structure.
Yeah, so you can.
Complete with my questions.
So you're saying you would approve or deny the variance?
We're not for a vote yet.
I know, okay. I just want to understand which way to vote by understanding what you're saying.
Well, to offset the issue. Kick the barn diagonally about 7 or 8 feet, whatever the number is. Doesn't put away in the back of the property, hopefully doesn't put in his wetland, doesn't hurt his trees. Visually still looks good from his new patio. So it's not this big monstrosity that he's got to look at. So that might be a good option to fix the issue. Without a variance. Unfortunately, I'm root causing and corrective actioning.
Pardon?
I was doing some root cause and corrective action, sorry. Putting ideas out there.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to deny the variance as requested.
You have a second,
I'll second.
the vote, Dave,
Well, Stan, do you want to explain why, we're gonna deny?
Because it can be built within code
Okay,
by just changing the position of the structure.
okay.
Who's seconding the motion? I'm glad you guys are paying attention. See, my friends are paying attention.
roll call vote, man.
Sometimes it speaks off.
Yes, I'm in favor of Stan's motion.
Diane, yes?
Yes.
Dave,
It's in favor of Stan's.
in favor of
Yes or no?
Stan.
Favor, yeah.
Okay. Motion carried. So we'll move to the filling out the forms for,
So Matt, you said yes, correct?
yeah, how do you
You said,
state the way that motion is? And give these to Dave or
what
yourself
was yours? Yes.
to say it right, right?
Yeah. Okay, CBA motion. All right, so. Speak the motion exactly the way you stated it again, because I didn't grab it.
Oh, the motions to deny the variance due to the fact that it can,
Variance. Due to.
it can be built within code by moving the location.
So you're telling me there's no setback on the pond side and put it right on the edge of the pond, right?
Yeah, make that very clear.
Code.
No, we're not saying that because he's not
Say it again.
the expert in that area.
Denied variance due, it can't be built within code by moving it.
And I did talk to Tracy and Tracy did not
Location.
mention that.
It's in your guys' application. It's in your application.
Moving location of structure, right?
That had to be.
Forward.
So we can't put it where he wants to put it, right?
We'll move it over a little bit.
We said,
I've got your app.
No, he's got to meet the 30 feet.
Where is it at?
No, it's I talked to Tracy 3 times about it. And he said it had to be 25 feet away from the excavation of the property. And he told me measure off the edge of the water of the property. That was his exact words. I did all this stuff by GPS, so it's all spot on.
Well, I don't think that what Gabe was suggesting anyways, and I mean, the hearing's technically done, but I don't think what you were suggesting was gonna put it closer to the pond, was it?
So you got the circular with the pond.
He's not. I
It
know
would-
he's
it would
not.
go in this direction.
All I'm saying is,
As far as that issue goes, I can't answer that question right now. And you can talk to Tracy and ask him for the citation for that, since that's what he told you.
I'm just gonna start building.
pass it around that sheet for us to, all right?
Yeah, so does that find his address again?
It's,
What is it? Here it is, 8376. Shit. The date is what? The 20th, right? 6/20. Field number is 2023 times 2. Right, proofread it on the way back. With a pen if we need it.
wanna look at this before I hand it down?
You may.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn that meeting.
I'll make a motion to close that meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to open the public hearing, 202367.
Motions?
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Nay. Motion carried. Comments from the applicant?
Question the variance that would allow me to add on to current structure that I have. And a needed space and my existing full structure is not large enough, so I want to add on to it. That would require me to get a variance on setback from 75 feet to 50 feet. I'm pretty much locked in any direction that I can go. I have a septic field one way, a house another way, electric Edison lines the other way. I do have property in the back. It's very much close, similar to this gentleman's. It's woods for a reason because it's a low area, low land.
Excuse me, your name is Paul Emmy, right?
And
Thanks.
yes. I built that house, we dug 2 ponds just in order, the whole property was low. We dug 2 ponds just enough to bring the house and barn area up to a level that would not get flooded out. Even then, now sometimes when the rains come, my house looks like an island.
What is that pile of sand there? What's that
For
for?
the sand at my house.
Yes.
I brought sand in, I was getting ready to build, you know, I just figured I'd get approval. On the building. And, when I. Talked with the building inspector, he informed me of a 75-foot setback, which I wasn't aware of, so. You know, the pile of sand's just there waiting.
So you came in to get a building permit, but you put the sand there to go ahead first?
Well, I did some other cement work too, so I had pulled in a lot of cement, a lot of sand. You know, what I didn't use on the cement work, that was earmarked for the barn when I started building. I also have a Schreiber drain running through my property, which allows for no building 70 feet either side of that drain. So it,
On your document here, where is that?
On the left, the drain?
I
I see Edison lines here with the proposed, sorry.
the next one.
Whoops, to the previous one, or the previous.
It comes
from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Behind that stand, you say on this thing, it's a pole barn. I thought it was a garage. Your house went this way, then there was a sand, and then there was a building here. You call
There's a
that,
small pole barn, yes, and then a large pole barn.
okay,
Okay, let me see what you're looking at.
yeah. I looked at this and I thought it was a garage, but you call it a pole.
Well,
barn.
it's a 24 by 24 pole barn, 24 foot by 24 foot, yes.
Okay,
That was my first attempt to alleviate my situation, but it wasn't enough. So that's why I'm asking for this add-on. And you can see. The house is here, my septic field is about here and it runs straight to the. Septic field here.
Where's your? There's the well,
The well would be up here somewhere and it comes at an angle
might have
like
been at
this.
that, on that other.
No, you know, probably never drew the well in.
Yeah, I don't see the well there.
I mean,
No, I don't see
I can
it
draw
either.
it for you right now. If,
Well, let them see where it is too.
okay. This might be better if I drew it as this one. I don't know if that one doesn't have a house.
Yeah, you did with the house on that one, okay.
Yeah, I just drew this one to give a little better
Right.
idea. of what it
Okay.
is. But the well, the line comes from here. The well. It's prioritizing.
I'll let them know where it's.
So. On this one. Well comes into the house here and it's probably approximately right here.
Which might- Yeah.
Oh, your pen, okay.
Did you know where it's at?
No. Right there.
Did
In
you
the
see?
front.
You see that? From the house, kitty corner, the well's right there, so it restricts them.
Okay. Well, concern is, like we've already explained, that if you can build in conformance with the zoning ordinance and basically meet your purpose that way, then that's what really needs to be done. So, question I had was a couple questions. You've got the one pole barn by the house that's got a shed on the south side. Right? On the pole barn,
The lean-to?
yeah, the lean-to,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So you could put one on the north side too, which would provide some benefit. And
You came out, and you saw the size of the trailers, would not fit in any lean-to. I need the one trailer that was inside the barn that you saw. I need 35 feet just to park that trailer, and that's why I picked the dimensions that I did.
so the trailer that's in there right now,
Right,
you need. Okay,
and the yellow trailer with tongue is 28 foot.
in length,
You got the
Yep.
dump trailer with it's 22 feet. They wouldn't fit in that lean-to, and besides, the lean-to is actually my wood shed. I burn wood in the winter. That's where I put my wood.
oh, the lean-to portion, okay. Well, what about with your current pole barn, 45 by 56? What if you added on the back a 15 by 56 addition?
I can't, you see where the electric lines are on an angle?
Why don't you show me? Right here,
Yeah.
okay,
Right. I could not go up here. I couldn't go 56 or anything, and then it would just be pretty much a drive-through.
well, wouldn't this be from here to here? I mean, you wouldn't be. In the
Well,
open
the
line.
lines might be a little closer than what
Well,
I've
this is
drawn.
not- this is not
I
accurate?
can't, I could not, well,
Okay,
yeah, that's just drawn in.
So I'm looking at a
Well-
document in front of me. Signature from all reporters acquired. So Don, LAGACRE.
But sure. Yeah.
So where does he live?
She lives on the north side of me.
North is up. Right. So he's your next door neighbor.
Yes, he is.
He's this guy over here.
Yeah.
And that's his signature. You went over his house and asked him for permission.
He has no problem at all. You could call him right now if you want.
Sorry for interrupting you, Matt.
Oh, that's all right.
Sometimes those voices get ahead of me.
The problem I have is that I'm relying on this, even if it's not totally to scale, I'm relying on the relative positions of this. So you now saying that the electric line would be too close is something that I can't verify here.
Yeah, it cuts an angle here.
I know it does, but where? No, but I'm looking at, do you have this diagram, Brett?
I'm looking at the Saturday image. Like the pole leaves the other side of it. He comes into that yard and then it cuts at an angle. It goes diagonal through the property. And it clips, I mean, it can't be 10 feet in the corner of the car.
No, but so come here, Brett.
When I originally built that barn,
This
I
is
got.
what I'm looking at here, okay? This shows the Edison lines right here, right? This is what I'm talking about here. That was that addition here.
So the addition would go this way, off the front.
No, on the side, right here.
That's,
I
think that's where
understand
you're
what
looking
you're
to
saying,
put it.
but along narrow,
The difference, this is the difference. He wants this.
that won't allow me to start things without moving everything every time I want
What
to
he wants.
do anything.
This is what we're saying right here.
How long did you say your longest trailer was?
Pardon?
How long did you say your longest trailer was?
About 34 feet at this time.
34 feet?
He's
Kind of vehicle you pull it with?
32 by 40
It's
foot.
a car hauler.
So he's putting 40 feet.
I have classic cars.
50 feet of the line, so that's where it's at.
So using like an extended cab dually to pull it
What
with.
I'm saying is,
Oh,
can you
no,
add
no, it's a full behind trailer. I'll use my speed.
lane line enough to put both trailers? 56 feet long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like the Edison lines are gonna interfere with what I was saying.
Well, okay, I guess let me put it this way. A 15-foot pole barn wouldn't do me any good. I mean,
Well,
I
you'd be
understand
able
what
to park
you're
the trailers
saying,
in
I
there.
could get things under cover. But functionally, every time I wanted to do anything, I have to move every single trailer I have to try to get it out of the barn. And it just,
I thought you were talking about two trailers. Right? I mean, if you were gonna put that in there, because you got the one trailer in there right now.
well, I have trailers and cars and, you know, I don't want to lead you to believe the only thing I'm going to use that for is a trailer or two. You know, I mean, there's other things that you saw my barn, you saw how much things I have to move around. I just can't move stuff around every single time I want to move the trailer.
this came up before, this is when I had recommended that I thought we should switch to 50-foot setback. And it's for reasons like this. Where you've already got something established and you've got. And you things that don't let it fit.
Yeah, but that's not for this board to consider, but
That's the reason why I was pushing for it.
that's not the ordinance. And we don't have the power to change the ordinance.
Can I ask a question? Because I
Sure.
guess I just don't understand this whole thing. If you have no power to change the ordinance, then why do you exist? This is a variance.
No, we can't change the ordinance. We can grant the
You can
variance
grant the
if we
variance,
meet the
do you?
requirements that.
And that's what
I
I'm
mentioned.
asking. I'm not asking that you change the ordinance.
Right, so again, under. the section 7.7 of the ordinance, we can grant a dimensional variance. But what has to be shown is that there are special conditions and circumstances that are peculiar to the land, structure, or building. So one of the things that are peculiar to yours are that your drain, for example.
That whole property was a low one. I purchased that 10.1 acres. And when I purchased it, it was underwater. It took a ton to build it up to where I have. So the rest of the property in the rainy season is all underwater. And when I said my house is an island, many times it is. That's all I can tell you. The highest part of my property is the house and those barns, and that's it.
And what about building behind the pole barn next to the house?
I'm the pole barn next to the house.
Right. So if you push it further west.
I'm not gonna drive over my septic field or my septic.
No.
That's what I would have to do to get to it.
Well, I don't know about that. You've got space between the pole barn and the house, and you've got space between the pole barn and the septic field.
You saw where my septic tank was, right behind the house. That line
Right,
goes clear all the way back behind my pole barn. I'm not gonna, that line is 12 to
Okay.
18 inches.
well, what
I'm not
about,
Gonna be driving it.
what about, well. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I guess I'm still kind of bothered by the fact that you want a 25-foot variance.
You know, 50-foot variance. Oh, 20.
Well,
I see what
it
you're saying.
75-foot is the requirement. And you're looking for, a 25-foot variance.
Entry door would be on the right-hand side.
Pardon?
Your entry door would be on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
Not having an entry door, I would go to the barn.
Should be going through this way, like this.
45 by 56 barn.
Yeah, right, exactly. I would be going through the barn.
Not this way.
Right, I would have an entryway. I have no driveway here or anything.
Right.
well, if you did that, then you're gonna still have to move stuff that's in the way. If you're gonna be putting stuff all the way back here, you're gonna have to move the stuff that's in front of it to get back there. Right?
Well, some, but that's gonna be 16. for building.
Yeah.
For-
Well, you got the door there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got any more questions.
Any more comments?
You have any questions, Dan?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, other than this is another one of them cases that the agricultural setback for more than 250 feet is biting somebody If you had 250 feet of frontage and you were zoned ag, you wouldn't even be here.
I was told that, yes.
Yeah. I think we seriously need to look into that role. We're denying people the ability to utilize their property.
Under 250?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if he had,
Because he's over 250.
right, because he's got 642 feet of frontage.
200. Those are great.
Yep.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Board discussion, any other comments?
So when I circled, what does that mean? Or pass it down.
what's that?
When I circled, what does that mean?
He's zoned agricultural.
Yeah, it's zoned agricultural.
Now, what you stated a few moments ago about agricultural with regards to the width of the property.
As long as you have,
On
yeah, some agricultural has thousands of feet of frontage.
Right.
Some only has 250,
what was the setback is based? I'm sorry.
right?
So,
Under
so
two.
what it
Oh.
is, if you have a small parcel
If you
relatively,
have the exact,
2 or 3 acres in agricultural, then the setbacks are different.
Okay, got it.
That's what,
the most 40-acre farms, if they have 1,250 feet of frontage, you can sell off 5 parcels and they'll all be exactly 250. But the problem is, if you look at a plat book, there's very few farms that have exact measurements like that. So somewhere, if there's 1,255 feet, one of them parcels is gonna be 5 foot over the rules. He's gonna have the 75-foot rules, and the other 4 parcels are gonna have the 50-foot rule,
Got it. Okay. That's a clarification I was looking for.
which I don't agree with.
well, but that's something we can do about anything about. I mean, we
Now, the
can't change the.
planning commission can,
The planning commission can look at that, yes.
yes,
And, the next meeting is July 6th.
So if they were to do any changes in the planning commission,
Well, I don't know that it would meet his requirements, only because, let's just assume they consider it, they make a recommendation. It still has to go to the township board, it
Right.
goes to the county, it comes back. And I don't know that it would fit his time frame, and I don't want to give him,
right?
any
Also,
false hope on that one, but
For consideration, the farmer did just what you said. He could not parcel mine on to 250 feet because of the drain.
yep.
Literally 170 feet right off the bat is unusable. I cannot use it.
so you've got 642 and 170 you can't even use.
Right.
Okay.
I put a motion out there to approve his variance.
You need to go through the factors and
By which of the four factors?
justify it.
Well, he's got a large portion of his property that that he can't use due to the egress, whatever they call that there for the drain itself. And he's the only person.
County drain is what they call it. Basically,
Yeah.
if they want to do anything like dig the drain out, they have to have that property clear.
So I see that as an opportunity, as well as. He's got a love note here stating that his neighbor doesn't have a problem with it. So those are the two things that,
Yeah,
I
but you know,
see.
looking at the zoning board of appeals handbook. That's a circumstance unique to him. To do that, this runs with the land. So the current neighbor might be fine with it. But when he sells or whatever. Well, the next neighbor may not be, so you can't,
it's kind of like saying, all right, well. I moved to a neighborhood that has an airport and I don't like the airport. The airport's pre-existing at that point.
yeah, it's a little different,
That happened in Detroit many years ago.
different situation.
Detroit City Airport was already there.
It's apples and oranges.
Yeah. All right, so no one's seconding mine, so
I'll second that motion.
hold on. And variance. Okay.
Matt,
I don't know, I mean, I'd like to discuss it further.
okay,
So if you need to vote on the motion, I'm gonna say no, but I'd like to discuss it further.
that's fine. How do you backtrack?
Keep the motion open, we discuss it.
Okay.
Okay,
So like I said, it just bothers me that, you know, there's a 25-foot variance that's being requested here. I mean, that's large. What if he had said, you know what, I think I need, instead of making it 40 feet, I need 60 feet, or I need 70 feet. Put all my stuff in there.
And that turns into his next variance if he chooses to do that.
Well, yeah, it'd
But
be even more
if we vote on,
greater variance, right?
right, but if we vote on a 25, that's what he gets, and too bad, so sad.
True.
It's black and white. As we have it in front of us right now, or blue with a pen, but. So if he comes back looking for a 75, 80, 100-foot variance, and obvious at that point, he already got his first variance, you can't get the second one. Once he's locked in. So I know we wouldn't consider a variance to a variance. After the fact.
Right. Well, I mean. You could always come back and ask for another variance, as far as that goes. Doesn't mean you get it, but you know, you can always ask for it.
Well, you know, if the customer wants to spend money, you know.
Yeah, but it's not a given that he won't be granted the variance.
We also can look at it as if you're driving down the road and you could hit a kid 5 miles down the road that doesn't even exist yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I said, It's not like we're saying, okay, we're gonna drive down the road, 5 miles down the road, you're gonna hit a kid riding a bicycle. All you can do is, with the situation is here right now, if you're driving down the road, it's all free and clear. What ifs, can't.
Okay, yeah, I didn't quite.
What
Get where you're going with that one.
my point is, what ifs, it's just like drunk driving tickets, right, or speeding. What if you hit a kid? Well, did I? No, you got me speeding, you wrote me a ticket, this is what happened right here, right there.
Mhm.
And we can't, try to figure out what's gonna happen in the future, because if we did, well, shoot, we'd all be rich people, right? We'd be able to play the lottery and know the numbers. All we could do is make a decision with what's right here in front of us now with the data we have in front of us,
Mhm.
data evidence.
Okay. Dan, did you have any questions?
Ready for, no, no,
Okay.
ready for the roll call?
So the motion is still going, right?
So the motion's on the table,
Guess the motion.
grant the variance.
As long as you guys are done with,
Yeah, I've got no more questions.
no questions? Diane?
No.
So the motion is out there. I first did it, he seconded it. What do we want to do with it?
Well, you have to vote on.
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Cooper, yes. Motion carried. Now we'll fill out these forms.
Really?
Motion to adjourn,
A motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion